Welcome to today's hands-on. We'll be learning about performance settings today. I'll go to compute first, and here let's click on create compute. Now under the policy, if we select unrestricted, the problem here is the auto scaling won't appear. Apart from unrestricted, if we select any other, let's say power user compute, and now we can see the auto scaling. This will be by default enabled and grayed out. So let's explain or let's understand first what the performance settings are all about. So first, if we look at the Databricks runtime, so this is the kind of the software built or the software version, what version of Spark we need, right? So depending upon our code or specific version with our project requirement, we can select any. Please note whatever comes in new or the latest, it might be in beta, right? So better to select something which is already available, not in beta, because beta is kind of testing and all. So we got to select something which is already like quality checked and all. So 18.1 is looks good as of now. Then we have the worker type here. So if we focus here, it says memory and cores. So this is basically the node type kind of we can say it's CPU or GPU. It's kind of node type. So node types basically define the hardware resources available. That is the memory cores we can see, right? So if we select this one, D4SV3, and here if we can see, like, it's not kind of like GPU acceleration. If machine for GPU acceleration things, machine learning should be enabled, like what we have here, GPU accelerated one. These are basically, some will be more powerful. We got to check on the prices as well, and for some GPU and all, so some features might not be available, like here photon acceleration is not available. We got to uncheck it, otherwise it will give error. So GPU, as mentioned, like if you your workload needs machine learning and AI, we got to select it. See, if we uncheck it, it will automatically force you GPU instance type can be used for machine learning, right? So we got to check this if you want to use the GPU version of it for your workloads. Next, let's understand the cluster size or the node count. We can see there are two numbers here, min and max. So basically, cluster size determines how many machines run your workload. So let's say I want the minimum 2 and maximum as maybe 8 or 7. So here, the larger the cluster, faster will be the runtime of the job. The job will run quickly. But on the downside is that the cost will increase. So we got to keep in mind, faster might not be the best fit for your project. The cost might shoot up. We got to be very careful. The minimum should be 1. We cannot make it 0 because it will throw error that at least one worker you need, right? So technically there should be one worker, right? Otherwise how will this compute work? Again, max we can select as again 1. We can keep, this is the minimum, right? We cannot go beyond this, like 0 cannot be maximum. If as soon as we select 0, it says min must be less than max, right? So since min is 1, it should be greater than equal to this thing. Now you might see this kind of basic error. So this is the quota, CPU quota. There's a Microsoft Learn link to it. You can read later on. So quotas are basically help you to keep safe, because sometimes what happens, someone in your project can accidentally spin up some huge memory optimized or some GPU accelerated compute. So it will incur a huge cost. So that's why some quotas may be there to have a control there as a kind of safety check. Next, let's understand here the auto scaling. So by default, the auto scaling is enabled. So auto scaling adjust node count automatically based on the workload, right? So we have selected min max, so it will automatically adjust the node count. We don't have to worry about it. It will be happening on the fly, taken care by Databricks itself. Now, here goes another important point to save cost. We have the terminate here, right? So this is the auto termination example 120 minutes. So here the cluster stops if no job runs after the specified duration. For here it's 120 minutes. If we want, we can reduce it to half an hour or 30 minutes. Or if you don't want, if you want the cluster always running, which is not a best practice, I'll say, because we don't want to incur additional cost unnecessarily. So accidentally, if someone is not running, it will terminate. But again, depends on your project requirements and all. So these are the basic settings, what we do. Then goes the tags. Tags are nothing but key value pairs. Like some can be like, let's say this compute is for environment, maybe development. I'll write dev, right? We can create similar tags. It helps us to group and understand from where the resources are getting utilized, right? When there will be multiple resources in development, I can easily understand, all right, so this resource, that standard D4S, belongs to this development environment. So tags help us in this. So once done, we can definitely go ahead and click on the create button. So we can check the status anytime by returning to our compute. Then under all purpose compute, we'll find here the state. It's for now, it's waiting to get started. When it started, you will see a green dot here. That is the state is available already. That our compute is now ready.